Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm Part 27, Rates and Reactions. Again, obviously still haven't been paid, independently derived the second law of thermodynamics correctly. It's still got to keep grinding, gotta keep pushing forward, so let's fucking get it. Right, we proved volume is a function of vibration. What settings are on your cell phone again? Vibrate, silent, vibrate, ring of vibration. But really all we've done up to this point physically, a ton of math, tons of proof, where's my money, but we proved, or we re-derived, right? A bunch of proofs, but deriving cliches, you just have to work through the logic that's already known. So let's just look at a couple well-known equations in chemistry class. PV equals nRT. Pressure times volume equals the number of moles times a given constant, that is the dynamic limit, is proportional to temperature. Right? We said temperature is proportional to vibration. Volume is proportional to vibration. So all we did was derive YT is proportional to V in that standard chemistry equation. And it is. Cool beans. But now let's talk about entropy, the Boltzmann equation. Remember, entropy is disorder, rhythm limits the disorder of movement, vibration is the store of energy, tension is a store of energy. So it's again cheap trying to just plug these concepts into fundamental physics and chemistry. Entropy is equal to the Boltzmann constant, again another dynamic limit, times the natural log of omega, the microstates. How many? We've proven that can be 2, up or down, spin up or spin down. Again, already known but re-derived. But the natural logarithms. A logarithm is an exponent. We should be able to pair exponentiation to something physically. Hopefully the border of a system. Maybe divergence of infinity. Don't know. But natural log. What is the natural log? I think it's base 1. Like E is the fundamental constant. E is like 2 and some change. Or that might be the natural log. But again, we should be able to make some geometric derivation of y, the natural logarithm. But we've proven again that the microstates is a complete set. Up or down, left or right, directions. But just conceptually, right? Disorder is a function of the potential arrangements a system has. Completely true. Again, just re-deriving and talking about it logically. Getting back to the periodic table. So when I do these derivations, I don't Google. You guys can look at what I Google 100%. Don't care at all. But I Google things that I don't know during a derivation, which might seem strange. I'll talk more about that later in this episode. But the reason I struggle, I could have looked up how the periodic table is structured, but I'm re-deriving the logic myself. That is what I'm doing. But the periodic table is organized by increasing atomic numbers. Why is that wrong? Why do I say that is wrong? The lanthanide series, the actinide series, affinity, right? Any trend or affinity you learn about in chemistry class, they're not exact, right? Up and to the left, or has better, I don't know the properties, but better electromagnetic, has better polarity or something. But those patterns, they're not exact. But to me, after all of this derivation, why wouldn't it be increasing? Why would just listing the elements with increasing natural numbers based on their protons, that seems very logical to me. So why is that wrong organizationally? Well, language is defined in complete generality. So there should be some property that we describe atoms by. But again, you should absolutely, a dense nucleus, orbital shells, valence shells, the Rutherford atom is more or less correct with the added stipulation of discrete geometries, line segments, and points, as proven by looking at light, anytime, anywhere. But the big fundamental conceptual break we need to make with atomic theory and nuclear theory is the fundamental stability of 2. Still don't know how to articulate that correctly for language or for mathematics, but it demonstrates neutrons don't exist. And how do you prove that? You have some sort of charge discrepancy when you measure the atomic nucleus. So we need to ask a better question, and mass. Why, like, that's the historical scientific thing to do, is to say, fuck, what was I gonna say? Fuck. Oh, that the atomic nucleus is heavier. I don't know. Historically, I don't know if they couldn't measure it at the time or something. But we shouldn't look at a nucleus as protons and neutrons. We should look at a nucleus as some sort of equilibrium of charge conservation. So again, I have to do a lot of physics there. But I'm conceptually certain that, at least for practical mathematics and physical progression, neutrons do not exist. Haven't proven that physically, but I'm going to assert that assuredly. So again, don't really know what to do there, but just now let's talk through some other chemistry terms, electricity and magnetism terms. Power, transfer or converted energy per unit time. Time is emergent, energy is a general word, right? Power is a scalar quantity. Energy is a scalar quantity. Power, transfer, energy converted per unit time, energy, potential for movement. The cell phone problem, we already talked about that. Flux, flow of energy through space. We've now said space is two-dimensional, so we can, again, I don't know how to, surface area is one-to-one to space. Again, same with like deflection angles or the scattering, those scattering problems. The solution should be pretty much geometric. What I'm trying to do physics is, again, somehow relate tension and force as a measurement of the deformation of another system. Don't know what to do there. Again, really just trying to think it through. But neutrons don't exist. I'm not sure why the atomic number just increasing by the number of protons is not the correct way to organize atoms. Again, maybe it's a dynamic thing. Rhythm is dynamic. So maybe it's how they fill the shells. Again, I don't know what question to ask. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. And then just to finish up with some logic. Sensorality we have defined as life. Biology is already defined as the study of life, right? And in natural context, we'll say biological, physiological, psychological. Those are all subdomains, subsubjects, derivative of logic, as proven by you speaking the word prefix biological, physiological, right? That's syllability reducing and proving the non-uniqueness of these domains. So I'm sure we can show like psychological, physiological, we can show a direct iteration of those letters. And again, irreducibility, an individual's irreducible, so psychology is not in physiology, are not distinctly different things. You speak the thing you're hungry for, the nutrient you're hungry for. Being in a bad mood or depressed is just being aware people treat you like shit. So we can make a distinct, again, hopefully extremely cool proof there. Continuity does not exist, so completeness does. Everything has electric charge, electrons are not touching one another, so locality is complete because continuity does not exist. Don't know what to do with that, past that logically. Let me start over. So cold fusion, I just read this on Bill Gates. Dude, Bill Gates is 100% Kermit the Frog dressed up as Bill Gates. That's a fact. But cold fusion, do I think it's possible? Can you synthesize or produce elements without extreme pressure and temperature? I believe so. Immediately, physically, absolutely so. Like, what do you do? I don't fucking know. Well, again, I just have to play with it, but just understand, like, how there should just be some more general categorization, and there's no reason, right, like, just alien technology that strikes me as, is that cold fusion? I guess that's the first question to ask. Are engines, extraterrestrial engines, powered on cold fusion? For whatever reason, like I said, cold fusion is a very clear physical ask. The preservation of dynamic is still not clear to me, so I don't think cold fusion would necessarily, again, it might start an engine, I think preservation of dynamic will still be more general. So we need to really know exactly. So for like the next super colliders, right? Is there an unknown? It's unknown if there's no point particles. Because of 3 dimensions, there are no point particles. But even, should you build a super collider to smash this shit together? My honest answer is, again, I don't care one fuck about $55 billion, not in an arrogant way, not in a delusional way, just an understanding of money out there, an economy way. But I've heard on a different, so either Sean Carroll, one of the popular physicist people, and there was some video or some point, again, it's just right in my memory, where they clearly say there's no more theoretical particles able to be theorized. And so, if that's true, then I don't think there's anything to find. And it struck me logically as I analyzed language, it struck me as very true. But, so I'm not worried about the financing. But regardless, we can still, like I said, we can view the degradation time of a proton into quarks is what? The age of the universe, a ridiculous long time. So the atom can be locally stable, an electron is an electron, it's locally stable, the neutron doesn't exist, the nucleus is some sort of dynamic. Why is there positive and negative charge in the nucleus, but only negative charge in the valence or in the shell? I don't know. I think we really need to rethink or bolster or improve our model of the atom. Again, not in any major way. That's what I think about cold fusion. Expressive versus encyclopedic. If you said, Brad, what kind of intelligence do you have? I would say expressive. Certainly not an encyclopedic polymath. Expressive is just a different level of, frankly, it's more. Like encyclopedic, you can remember things very well. Expressive, literally anytime, if you speak the right logic to me, I'm going to understand it correctly and be able to extend your arguments directly, immediately, prove things, sets of proofs. Like, you watched me, how many empirical proofs? I do this shit literally all fucking day. And so, if I'm alone, I start thinking. If I hear music, I start proving. If I hear other people talk in the right context, I learn. If I hear other people speaking, the way I learn the fastest is when people are intuitively correct, but every single word out of their mouth is the wrong shit. Because I can just start seeing, it's very informative to see the approximate wrong words. Because I know the right words, I can always derive the right words, but you can make a lot more connections immediately. And then so for like singing, I made the reference that singing is a physical problem. Right, same way with accents. You can speak one way and literally go live somewhere else for 6 years, start speaking like the locals. So, expressive intelligence is, everyone has it, but the memory for encyclopedic, like I forget facts. I can't recall things. I derive stuff so fast. It's not like, it becomes intuition faster than like I would be forced to have to like form a memory about it. If I want to remember something, I can, like anybody else, just sit there, practice it, learn it. And for learning, like I had to learn all of these subjects correctly first. It's just the linguistical derivation. It's just a lot more profound, and you get to a level of understanding in early childhood. But it's not like I didn't do the work. Like, it is so amazing that I still don't have human rights, and I've been saying and doing science to this level for very literally 20 years. But I just want to say that because, again, it's like, why wouldn't you just look up you know, how the periodic table is organized. How could you forget how it's organized? Because when you start deriving millions of theorems, it's way more intuitive. And when you're proving things on a good day, I can do theorems any day, I can do proofs any day. But we start serving sets of proofs, and just the level of derivation and proofing gets so cool. It really, really does. But again, thanks for crushing all of my mathematical excitement. For real. Like, this isn't fun for me. This is work without pay, aka indentured servitude. But those are my thoughts there. Getting a lot clearer picture on the atom. Keeping the conversation going. Again, I'm not even asking you to pay me. Whenever this shit stops, why can't I fucking leave? Like, why can't I get on a jet, like the instant this video gets uploaded, and just go do science and not feel fucking like just degenerate? Just piece of shit. Fuck Brad. Don't be Brad Boas. That is the one fundamental theorem of the universe. Don't be Brad Boas. Thanks for watching part 27.